Now, just yesterday, it appeared that a peace formula had been reached between Captain Amrinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu. But now, there seems to be fresh troubles for Sidhu. In the peace formula, we had been hearing that the Central High Command of the Congress Party had cleared the elevation of Navjot Singh Sidhu as the party chief ahead of the polls. But now, as we speak, Punjab MPs from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are going to meet. This to urge the Congress leadership not to appoint Sidhu as the chief. Captain Amrinder Singh's wife said to be the one person galvanizing party MPs for this meeting. This just a day after Captain Amrinder Singh had said that whatever is decided by the party high command will be accepted to him. Old Congress families of Punjab are upset with the Congress party's decision to have Sidhu, whom they call is a reject of the BJP, to be put as a head of the party and appointed in that position right ahead of polls. Let's bring you a quick reaction from one of those MPs, Pratap Singh Bajwa from the capital.
देखो आज की जो मीटिंग है बेसिकली वो हमने सारे अपने कुलीग दोस्त जो मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं पंजाब से लोकसभा और राज्यसभा के उनको निमंत्रण दिया है क्योंकि फार्मर्स का बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है और ये मुद्दा विशेष तौर पर पंजाब, हरियाणा और वेस्टर्न यूपी और राजस्थान से जुड़ता है। तो इसलिए वो स्ट्रेटेजी कि हमने क्या करना है, ऑलरेडी अकाली दल वालों ने अपना बता दिया कि हमने पार्लियामेंट में क्या करना, आपने कर दिया, तो हमने बैठकर उस बात पर भी चर्चा करनी और कुछ कांग्रेस से जुड़ी हुई बातें जो कुछ चर्चित बातें हैं उन पर भी चर्चा करनी।
All right, so that was the first reaction coming in of Mr. Bajwa saying that, well, this is only to figure out Congress's stand on the farmers' issue. But let's cut across to Sunil Prabhu joining us live now, also Ghazali. Sunil bringing us that news at this point that all is not well with that elevation of Navjot Singh Sidhu. Sunil, what exactly is this indicating, this meeting of MPs?
Well, there are two important points that are being indicated with this meeting. One is that they aren't at all happy with the way things have progressed. The fact that you have today Punjab members of parliament from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha to meet at Mr. Bajwa's house, galvanized by Mr. Captain Amrinder's wife to get all of them on board, is a clear sign that the party is not at all happy with how things are progressing. So it's in that backdrop, Captain Amrinder himself has already made it clear that he has no problem with Sidhu's elevation, but a public apology is required because of those tweets that have taken place. But I think, Sonal, there's a larger question which needs to be looked at. What is the larger question? As you pointed out, the rejects of the BJP, for example, as the Congress loyalists are pointing out, there seems to be a pattern, be it Navjot Singh Sidhu or Nana Patole, or for that matter, Revant Reddy. They clearly are being elevated at the cost of loyal congressmen who have been with the party for some time. And they blame Rahul Gandhi for this, for the fact that he's been appointing these people. There's a larger issue for them, and that the issue is that if you heard what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said the other day in the social media, that those who are not happy can go and join the RSS ideology. It's not, their argument is that it's not somebody's own personal property, the party. The party is everybody's, and everybody needs to be taken along. And it's in that larger question that they are going to try to appeal to Congress President Sonia Gandhi to see reason, to understand the issue. And of course, they have no problem in whoever she appoints, but it should be somebody who will be able to lead everybody together, work together, and ensure that they have they fight together in the coming elections, which are due early next year.
All right, fascinating details there. Let's get a word from Ghazali as well. So Ghazali, Captain Amrinder Singh tweeting and saying he'll accept whatever the High Command says. Then his wife rallying around MPs to try and make another pitch. And this is not just that Captain Amrinder Singh remains the head. This is to ensure that Sidhu's not elevated.
Certainly, he said the same thing in Delhi when he met the Gandhis there and got back and said, I agree and I'll abide by whatever the president decides. He reiterated the same here. And after every such statement, when he says so, there's something else happens after that. Like yesterday, Mr. Rawat was all, thank you, Captain Amrinder, by standing by your words. And within hours, he was meeting Mr. Bajwa, the same Bajwa who Mr. Amrinder had replaced in 2015 in the same fashion by arm twisting the the High Command, and was replaced as the party president in Punjab. So in some sense, certainly Captain Amrinder Singh is not going to concede defeat on this issue. He is not going to cede his ground here. And now Mr. Bajwa is going to hold a meeting with all the Congress MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha at his residence. And the idea is that if Navjot Singh Sidhu can be elevated as a party president, why can't Mr. Bajwa, who is also a Jat Sikh? This is the theory, or this is the logic for which the party MPs will sit there. But not all party MPs are with Amrinder Singh or with Navjot Singh Sidhu. But many party MPs are rallying behind Mr. Amrinder Singh. So now it needs to be seen that who blinks first, whether High Command will again come under pressure and stall the elevation of Mr. Sidhu, or Mr. Sidhu will have had the last laugh.
Right. Sunil, very quickly, I just want to understand from you as well. So at this point, it seems like the MPs seem to be in full control of Captain Amrinder Singh, but Sidhu has the Gandhi's ears. He's the one who's managed to sort of get this power tussle in his favor. And what was being understood so far is Captain Amrinder Singh still sort of demanding an apology from him.
That's right. That apology, if it is forthcoming, I think there'll be no problem about Mr. Sidhu's elevation. Because let's put things in perspective. Why is this come to a situation today as it is? It's come to a situation because the party has been in the doldrums thanks to Captain Amrinder ostracizing himself from the party MPs, being seen as an agent of the Akalis, not taking action on the sacrilege issue, the sand mafia, the power issue. There were a host of issues, and a lot of the MPs and MLAs were upset with the way Captain Amrinder was functioning. Now, of course, in the last minute, he's trying to rally people across. I spoke to Mr. Bajwa, who's clear that he wants to go back to the state. He wants to roll for himself. He has buried the hatchet at this present juncture, and that is the reason why he's hosting this meeting, and he met Captain Amrinder yesterday. But we have to look at it in the larger perspective. I don't think anybody will have a question mark on Sonia Gandhi's decision. The fact is that they just want to send a message that nobody should be taken for granted at this stage, and that if you have to have a united face, Mr. Sidhu also needs to understand that everybody needs to be taken on board, and it's not like that, you know, you appoint somebody as a leader who does not know the nuts and bolts of, leave alone the workers, even the leaders he is not aware in the districts of Punjab, and that's the reason why they're raising this small banner of revolt, if I may be permitted. And of course, as I pointed out, a larger perspective about the fact that you're appointing people from the BJP who they say are rejects, be it not only in Punjab, be it in other states, as you've seen in Maharashtra, for that matter, in Telangana, and they say that clearly the Congress party is for everybody, and nobody can say that it's his or her personal property, in reference to Rahul Gandhi's utterances about the fact that those who want to leave and go and you may join the RSS.